Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Actually, learning a language becomes a very important duty of us as a human being, especially as a Muslims, because actually if you pay attention in one of the hadith from Rasulullah SAW actually mentioned that the Sahabah Zaid needs to learn some foreign languages in order to defeat the enemy of Islam. And some languages becomes more preferable for Muslim than other languages. For example, more and more people learn Arabic because they think Arabic is the language of the Quran, which is very true. But some people say that they don't want to learn certain language because it's like the language of the group of the other, which they call the kafir. But actually, language has no religion actually. And if you pay attention to the Al-Quran in Surah Al-Hujurat, actually Allah has stated that He created human beings into many kinds, many ethnicities, many groups, so that we can learn to know each other. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the language that some people think is actually the, let's say it's always the opposite of Islam, which is English language or the Western language. Actually, if you pay attention, you can find at least 5 main characteristics of English language, and I will say that those characteristics are very unique because they are very similar with the values that we have in Islam. I will start with the first characteristic. If you make a sentence in English sentence, actually you will see that every English language, especially the sentence, has always a verb. For example, if you want to say, I am a teacher, okay. In Indonesian language, you can say it without any verb. You can say, saya guru or saya dosen. But if you make a sentence in English, you should put a verb there, which is I am, or I become, or I work as. If you pay attention, why verb is very important in English language is because of some reasons. We have differences. For example, I will say that we have differences in culture and also in the geographical aspect. Indonesia, we have 2 seasons, where English, they have 4 seasons. And with the 4 seasons, it's much harder for the people to live, to survive in the country with the 4 seasons. They need to work hard, okay? I will say work. Work is the keyword because if you go to countries with the 4 seasons, let's say it's not only English country, for example, Japan or maybe Korea or some other languages or European languages like French, German, you will always find that there is always verb in their sentence, okay? Okay, the question is, what's behind it? If we examine closely, you will find that actually verb is a work word, okay? I call it work word because work is very important aspects in life, okay? Maybe it's a bit different in the teaching of Islam. Working, everything that we do is considered as ibadah, okay? If you pay attention to the Quran in Surah Az-Zariyat, for example, in ayah 56, you will find that actually our main duty is to worship Allah, and working is part of the worship. So we'll say that some people only work for the money, but if you pay attention and if you look closely in Islam, working is considered as ibadah. So I will say working as a value is the same like what we have in Islam. I will move to the second characteristic of the language, especially English. In English, every sentence, they only have one verb. There's no double verb. You don't say, I am work as a teacher, or I am become a teacher. You should say, I work as a teacher, or I become a teacher. Okay, you don't mix up the verb. Okay, this actually says that you need to focus on something. You cannot do 2 things in the same time if you want to be good. Okay, it's talking about professionalism, but in the other aspect we will say that actually this characteristic talk about you need to focus on something, okay? In Al-Quran, actually, Allah also teach us, if you finish one job, and then you can move to the other job, okay? So it means that you need to finish one thing and go to the other thing. And as a Muslim, it's important for us to really finish what we do now and then move to the next activity and to focus and to be professional on it. If you pay attention to some of the, the story about the prophets, for example, some prophets, they have specific professions. Idris, for example, he's a tailor. He's a very professional one. And then who else? If you David, for example, he's good with the iron, okay, or Daud, yeah. And you can find also some other prophet, like our prophet Muhammad SAW is actually a trader, and he's an international trader and a very good one, okay. Okay, and we move now to the third characteristic of English sentence, which has similarity with the Islamic values, which is different time, different verb. For example, if I make a sentence, if I change the time, the verb will change. I will say study, for example. I study. I'm studying now, okay. I have studied in the past, okay. And if you change it, if you change the time, the verb will change, okay. In some languages it's the same. For example, in Indonesia we say saya belajar, it's saya belajar kemarin, sekarang, and so on and so forth. It's all the same. What is behind this? Why verb is very important? Why tense? Why verb change with the change of the time? Okay. In Islam, it is actually, it's been stated many times. You can find so many surah in Al-Quran that Allah is, swearing in the name of the time. Okay. For example, wal ashr, okay, in the name of the time. Time is very important, okay. The same like in English language, for example. If you change the time, the verb will change. Its time should be united with the action, okay. So if you also pay attention that in some of the Arabic proverbs say that time is like a sword, if you don't use it wisely, it can hurt you. So as a Muslim, I think it's important for us to pay attention to the time, just like what we have in English language. If you change the time, you need to change also the verb, okay? So some people, they don't pay attention to this. They just see that it's just a rule. No, it's not just about the rules. There is something philosophical behind it, okay? It will come back to the explanation why time is very valuable for people from the certain group. For example, in the country with the 4 seasons, they need to hurry up. They need to really make use of the time efficiently, effectively. Because if they don't use the time effectively, for example, if you don't plant in the springtime, you cannot do the harvest, in the fall or the autumn, and you don't have enough food or stock of food for the winter, and you cannot survive. So the lesson from the fourth characteristic of the English language is actually we need to value the time, okay? We need to use it wisely. Okay, now I'm going to go to the last characteristic of English language sentences with Islamic values in it. I will call it, actually it's number 1, 2, 3, 4. It's all about the verb. It's all about the work. It's all about action, time, what we do. It really matters, especially if you pay attention that everything that we do is ibadah. The last one is about noun, okay? If you make a sentence, if you pay attention, in English, actually, the position of the most important thing is always at the back. If I say, my big blue book, okay? The most important is book. They put it at the back, okay, at the last one. The last one is the most important, okay? While in Indonesia, it's not, it's different. So maybe we should think about, akhirah is as the last one, as the last part. Maybe some of you say that, oh, okay, it's just like you made it up. But again, the most important thing is at the last. It means you should think that there will always be end, and you need to prioritize what is the most important. Okay, so maybe in this very short discussion, I want to highlight again that actually in everything that you learn, including foreign languages, you will always find the lesson, the hikmah behind it. And I hope you get the hikmah from our talk today. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.